Putin has almost run out of weapons. Russia's heavy arsenal was crushed by Ukraine. Close-up video. Rare aerial footage shows what is believed to be Russian heavy armory being pulverized by Ukraine as losses among Vladimir Putin's military mount. An undated video published on Twitter on Tuesday, May 10 by Ukraine's Ministry of Defense shows a line of vehicles near Stary Saltiv in the northeastern city of Kharkiv followed by a strike on the rear vehicle. According to Kiev, its servicemen eliminated another new T-90M breakthrough tank with a Carl Gustaf anti-tank rifle provided by the Swedish government. The equipment, it said, was the pride of the Russian tank industry. Meanwhile, the Kremlin's offensive in the Moscow-occupied areas of Zaporizhia and Oblast in southeastern Ukraine is being met with resistance. Its military administration wrote on Telegram, the military situation in the Zaporizhia region has not changed significantly. The enemy is not conducting active hostilities, but is constantly shelling the positions of our troops with artillery. According to locals, in Polohy, the Russian military shot about 20 of their cars, it continued, only to avoid going to the front line. The Post claimed Russian soldiers attempted to blame the destruction of the cars on representatives of the resistance movement in the temporarily occupied territory of the Zaporizhia region. The military administration added, the moral and psychological condition of the occupiers remains low, there is a systematic use of alcoholic beverages and desertion. Russia's performance on the battlefield has been widely linked to low morale among Putin's men. As per the UK's Ministry of Defence, Russia's underestimation of Ukrainian resistance and its best-case scenario planning have added to the Kremlin's demonstrable operational failings in a war it started nearly 3 months ago. Those failings, the MOD said on Tuesday, May 10, prevented President Putin from announcing significant military success in Ukraine at the much-awaited Victory Day parade in Moscow on Monday, May 9. It said, Russia's invasion plan is highly likely to have been based on the mistaken assumption that it would encounter limited resistance and would be able to encircle and bypass population centers rapidly. This assumption led Russian forces to attempt to carry out the initial phase of the assault with a light, precise approach aimed at achieving a quick victory with minimal cost. The ministry concluded, this miscalculation led to unsustainable losses and a subsequent reduction in Russia's operational focus. On May 2, the MOD said more than a quarter of the 120 battalion units Moscow committed to Ukraine have now been rendered combat ineffective, a figure which represents about 65% of the Kremlin's entire ground combat strength. It claimed some of Russia's most elite units, including the VDV airborne forces, have suffered the highest levels of attrition. It will probably take years for Russia to reconstitute these forces. Ukraine's defense ministry, meanwhile, said Moscow's forces have lost 23,800 soldiers, 1,048 tanks, 2,519 armored personnel carriers, 459 artillery systems, 194 aircraft and 84 cruise missiles. According to the Security Service of Ukraine, the Russian military is counting killed soldiers in Ukraine as missing to hide the true number of combat deaths. It said in a Facebook post on Tuesday, May 10 it had intercepted phone calls between Russian soldiers who admitted to hiding dead bodies in massive dumps across the country. The Navy gives Putin a headache. The hole in the fleet made the Russians do this crazy thing. Vladimir Putin appears to be repairing old ships that haven't moved in years to fill holes in his fleet. The Russian warship, Admiral Levchenko, is reportedly showing signs that her engines and generators have been active. The move comes 7 years after the ship was retired from service. In 2021, it was reported the ship would be modified in order to return to the Russian fleet. Repairs on the ship began at the start of 2021, taking place in the city of Snezhnogorsk at the Dnipro shipyard. The repairs were planned so that the ship could rejoin the fleet by the end of 2022. But there have recently been reports that the ship is up and running already. This comes after Putin's forces lost 2 major vessels during the conflict with Ukraine. The landing ship Saratov and cruiser Moskva were destroyed last month. In an operational update, the UK Ministry of Defence, MOD, described the losses as embarrassing, but warned that the Russian Navy could still strike Ukrainian targets. It said, approximately 20 Russian Navy vessels are currently in the Black Sea operational zone, including submarines. The Bosporus Strait remains closed to all non-Turkish warships, rendering Russia unable to replace its lost cruiser Moskva in the Black Sea. Despite the embarrassing losses of the landing ship Saratov and cruiser Moskva, Russia's Black Sea Fleet retains the ability to strike Ukrainian and coastal targets. Russian state media claimed Moskva had sunk after suffering a fire onboard the ship, which detonated onboard munitions. But Ukrainian forces claimed the ship sunk after being hit by Ukrainian Neptune anti-ship missiles. Ukraine's Operational Command South said, in the Black Sea operational zone, Neptune anti-ship cruise missiles hit the cruiser Moskva, the flagship of the Russian Black Sea Fleet. It received significant damage. A fire broke out. Other units of the ship's group tried to help, but a storm and a powerful explosion of ammunition overturned the cruiser and it began to sink. According to UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace, Russia has lost at least 2,000 armoured vehicles in the war in Ukraine, including 530 tanks. More than 60 Russian helicopters and fighter jets have also been destroyed. Putin has reportedly lost as many as 40 colonels in the fighting so far. The death of Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Blinov, the 40th colonel to be killed in the onslaught, was confirmed on Monday when a photo emerged of his picture on a grave in Volgograd. Russian officials had previously denied that the colonel, who served in a motorized rifle unit, had been killed.